Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of Leadership Essentials, where we explore the most critical behaviors that define outstanding leaders. I'm Francesco, and joining me here are Ario and Elio, who bring specialized insights into leadership's most essential qualities. In today's episode, we will focus on three powerful topics: trust, influence tactics and persuasion, and empowerment. Why these three? Because they are the backbone of effective leadership, enabling leaders to inspire teams, drive results, and create a culture where individuals thrive. Let's think about it. Trust is the foundation of leadership. Without trust, communication breaks down, collaboration stalls, and motivation plummets. Trust is built through authenticity, logic, and empathy, as research has consistently shown. Influence tactics and persuasion are about how leaders inspire and motivate others. Leadership isn't about issuing orders, it's about aligning people to a shared vision and getting commitment, not just compliance. Empowerment is where becomes transformational. Empowering leaders give their teams autonomy, build confidence, and support their growth. But empowerment must be done carefully. Too much autonomy without clarity can backfire and feel like neglect. In essence, trust lays the groundwork. Influence gets people moving, and empowerment unlocks their full potential. By mastering these behaviors, leaders can foster innovation, loyalty, and exceptional performance within their teams. So let's dive in. First up, Elio, we will walk us through the importance of trust in leadership and how it builds credibility and connection. So, Elio, what do you think? Why is trust so important as a foundation of great leadership?
So trust is very important for leadership. Without trust, teams really struggle to communicate, collaborate, and commit. In leadership, trust acts like an invisible glue that holds relationship together and allow individuals to work towards shared goals. Without it, leaders face skepticism, resistance, and also disengagement. But what exactly builds trust? Well, our research from our team really showed three critical drivers of trust. The first one is to be authentic. You need to be the person that you are. So your good parts, your bad parts, it doesn't matter. Also, you need to be logic and you need to have empathy. Leaders must be genuine in their intentions, clear and sound in their decision making, and also understanding of their team's needs and concerns. For example, I will give you a good example. Imagine a leader who makes promises to improve team processes, but then he fails to deliver results time and again. So over time, their lack of follow through really erodes trust because their actions don't align with their words. So he's not really authentic. And also, this disconnects often from an imbalance in these three elements. Even if a leader has a strong logic, without empathy for the team's concerns or a sense of authenticity, the trust really breaks down. On the other hand, when leaders exhibit all three authenticity, logic, and empathy trust naturally grows. For example, a leader of a big company, let's take Microsoft, um, like he didn't just preach empathy, he actually embedded into the culture of the company, trying to have open communication, talking with all the people that is working there, genuine connection with the employees, no matter if you have a bigger range in the company. So this approach really makes relationship better, enables collaboration, and builds trust over time. So actually, ultimately, trust doesn't just improve better communication, but also creates a psychological safety with your employees. So I think we should all aspire to build our trust around us with all the people that is connected to us.
Thank you, Elio. That background of triangle is crucial for understanding leadership. I found the concept of trust wobble, where leaders often falter on one driver's authenticity, logic, or empathy, particularly fascinating. I found fascinating also that phrase work points out how modern workplaces pressures like constant multitasking and distraction often makes leaders seem disconnected. What do you think, Ario?
I absolutely agree. I think trust is directly related to influence. For example, inspirational appeal. Um, Elio just mentioned the example of Microsoft, and I think in him we can see inspirational appeals, which is one of the most influential tactics and most effective ones. And it's based on inspiring people to gain influence. It only works if your team trusts you and your vision. And I think Bill Gates is a perfect example of this. His vision inspires people, and without trust, persuasion could feel like manipulating people instead of motivating.
Are you? Can persuasion be the most critical skill for leaders to master?
I firmly believe so, because I think persuasion is what gets things done. Influence tactics like rational persuasion, where leaders use logical arguments and evidence to gain buy-in, or inspirational appeal, which I previously mentioned in the previous question, where leaders connect their vision and requests to the team's values, ideals, and aspirations, are just powerful tools to inspire commitment and action. These tactics go beyond just simple instructions, for example. Leaders who excel at persuasion don't just tell people what to do. They create a shared sense of purpose by aligning their own goals with what truly matters to their team. For example, a leader might say, completing this project isn't just about meeting deadlines. It's about showing that our team sets the standard for innovation and excels in this company. By framing tasks in a way where it resonates with the team values, leaders can inspire their people to commit fully and go above and beyond. However, I firmly believe that persuasion does not exist just in a vacuum. It needs trust and empowerment to work.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. Actually, influence tactics need to be grounded in trust. If your team doesn't trust you, I think even if you have rational arguments or emotional appeals, they can be seen as manipulative and not with good intentions. So trust really provides the credibility leaders really need to persuade effectively.
Yeah, that's such a useful takeaway. Combining tactics creates a sense of inclusion and shared purpose. I think it also ties back to trust, as Elliot just said. Leaders who involve their teams and communicate clearly demonstrate authenticity and empathy, strengthening trust with influencing outcomes. But before we move on, I think also something we should talk about is the resistance. When a team pushes back, how can leaders pivot their approach to turn resistance into commitment without resorting to hard tactics and manipulative tactics? What do you think, Aryo?
I believe there is not one single good persuasion technique. It is all dependent on the context of the situation. From what I've heard, I would have approached in a rational persuasion technique, which uses logical arguments and evidence to convince your people to persuade your goals together. If that doesn't work, there's also different techniques. The inspiring appeals, for example, is also another technique that we already previously talked about, where you try to align your visions and your requests with the team's values, ideals, and aspiration. If you manage to do that, you can create an environment where people feel inspired and commit to your actions. So, Francesco, let me fire a question right back at you. So, how does empowerment enable both trust and influence, and how is it connected?
So, empowerment is one of the most effective tools a leader has for unlocking team potential and fostering innovation. But it's a skills that require balance and precision. Done correctly, empowerment promotes autonomy, self management, and confidence. Done poorly, however, it risks being perceived as laissez faire leadership, where leaders appear absent, detached, or neglectful. At its core, empowerment is about granting team members the autonomy and resources to take ownership of their work. What's remarkable is that empowerment not only drives performance but also reinforces trust and influence, two fundamental pillars of effective leadership. How empowerment builds trust? Trust, as described by Frey and Morris 2020, relies on three drivers: authenticity, logic, and empathy. Empowerment directly fosters these elements. Authenticity, when leaders empowers the teams, they signals that they trust their abilities and judgment. With logic, empowerment leaders set clear expectations and goals while allowing autonomy in execution. And empathy, empowerment conveys that leaders care about the team's growth and development, which strengthen interpersonal trust. For example, Satya Nadella at Microsoft empowered his team by encouraging a growth mindset and creating psychological safety. His trust in the creativity, combined with the structured feedback, build stronger relationships, and a culture of mutual respect where innovation thrived. And how empowerment enhances influence is that influence in leadership is about achieving commitment rather than compliance. So empowerment amplifies influence because it engages teams in a way that feels meaningful. Leadership who empowers through consultation, for example, involves teams in decision making, tap into shared ownership. This cumulative approach fosters internal motivation and ensures alignment with the leader's vision. Empowerment also strengthens inspirational influence. When individuals are trusted to make decisions and growth, they feel valued. This boosts the commitment to the leader's goal and vision. House research by Rangan Gisner, 2017, highlights the empowerment when balanced with guidance drive commitment because it creates a sense of purpose and confidence too. And how is empowerment in action? To see how empowerment enables trust and influence, also we could revisit Mary Barra at General Motors. During General Motors' safety crisis, Barra empowered employees to change existing norms and contribute solution. By trusting her teams, she influenced them to take ownership of the company turnaround. The result? Well, it's a renewed sense of loyalty, trust, and performance across General Motors. As a takeaway, I think empowerment is a powerful enabler of trust and influence because demonstrate belief in other capabilities, building authenticity and empathy. It engages teams through consultation and autonomy. So, yeah, when leaders empower effectively, like Nadella or and Barra, they don't just inspire the teams; they create relationships rooted in trust and influence to drive meaningful and long-term success.
I fully agree. Also, not to mention, empowerment or empowered employees are more open to be influenced. When leaders involve their teams in decisions using tactics like consultation, it gives employees a sense of ownership, which leads to a stronger commitment from them. What is your opinion on this, Elio?
Well, also similar to yours, because actually empowerment reinforces trust when leaders delegate with confidence and clarity. It tells indirectly to the employees, I trust you to handle this task. So that confidence can be transformative in building relationships. In discussion, which leadership skill between trust, empowerment, or influence is the most important, and why would you say that?
So I would like to start that off. I personally believe that it is not one skill that makes a great leader, but a combination of all. And I think today showed us that to have trust, you have to have empowerment, you have to have influence, vice versa. So I think they're all interconnected and they're all built onto each other. And I think no great leader only has one skill, but a wide variety of skills and is a master of every category that we talked about today.
Yeah, for sure, Aryo. As we wrap up, it's clear that trust, empowerment, and influence are deeply interconnected. And of course, when leaders demonstrate authenticity, logic, empathy, and other characteristics as the charisma and the possibility to influence the others, they build credibility and creates a psychological safety where a team can drive and give the maximum potential. At the end, I think every leader in their leadership journey should ask themselves, how am I building trust, empowerment, and influence within my team? And by focusing on those three, I think they can unlock the power for having a great team.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm a bit biased, so I would argue that trust is the most important because it really connects everything else. Because without trust, actually empowerment feels risky, and also persuasion feels forced and manipulative. But it's true that they are all interconnected, so maybe it's not about choosing one, but about integrating all three to be a truly effective leader.
What great words from Elio. I think we are running at an end right now. This was it of our great podcast, Leadership Essentials. I'm very grateful to have our two guests here today, and I hope to hear you soon again.
For sure, it was a pleasure.
With a pleasure, guys. Let's meet again.